I'm Johna Till Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder of Nemertes Research, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the wonderful event we just had on the digital revolution in financial services. This was a Wall Street and Technology Association seminar and panel discussion. We heard from a lot of great vendors and end users who were talking about digital transformation in their organizations and what they're doing. And some of the key takeaways from this event, both the seminar itself, which had a number of presentations, and then the lively panel discussion at the end, included a handful of really critical things that people should think about as they undergo their own digital transformations. First is the key technologies that are relevant for digital transformation. We talked quite a bit about what these are and the roles they play. We also talked about the benefits that digital transformation can deliver and how to really put metrics around those benefits so you can see whether you're really successful at a digital transformation in your own organization. Then we talked about some of the challenges that organizations are facing, because let's face it, we've all heard the buzzwords, we've all tried to go out there and affect digital transformations, and it's not easy. And finally, we asked our panel session, which wrapped up the event, to really wrap up their findings and takeaways for the audience. So let's jump into those very quickly. The first set of key technologies includes, no surprise, analytics, which can give you a lot of great insight about what's going on with your customers and also inside your own organizations. There's also the concept of adaptive infrastructure, anything from containers and containerization when you're moving workloads to the cloud to things like SD-WAN and SDN when you're looking at the infrastructure to actually support these applications. We talked quite a bit about what it takes to put that adaptive infrastructure into place. Then we also looked at automation and the benefits that automation can bring, and the fact that automation by itself is actually a key area of focus for a lot of organizations going through their digital transformations. And then, of course, that led us to the discussion of Devops and what it takes to make Devops lean and agile really happen inside an organization. And last but not least, we talked about the role of cybersecurity, which is essential, particularly but not exclusively for financial services. If you're going to digitally transform, you want to be sure that you're doing that securely. And then we focused on some of the benefits. These aren't too surprising. I think the top benefit of digital transformation is speed. You're able to do things very, very quickly. That things can be anything from respond to your customers to streamline your back office functions. And in fact, that streamlining is incredibly important too. You can do things with a lot less effort and overhead and a lot less reliance on human manual labor. But speed and streamlining aren't the only two benefits that you can get. There's also the concept of context. So you can actually make better decisions because you have better data, particularly from the analytics, or just plain more data around any one customer transaction or any back office function. And aligned with that is the ability to get new insights that you couldn't have gotten previously thanks to this juxtaposition of key technologies. So those are some of the key benefits that we talked about for digital transformation. All that said, as I mentioned earlier, there's some real challenges, and we discussed those as well. The biggest challenge is cultural. Being able to do things very quickly means you actually have to change a lot of cultures for which built-in time delays actually act as a buffer mechanism to help prevent major mistakes. We're all aware of what can happen when somebody fat fingers, cloud services, and all of a sudden, the Eastern Seaboard goes down. Well, automation is great, but you also have to adjust your processes to make sure these things can't happen. So that's one of the big challenges. Another big challenge is really just plain cultural resistance. People are afraid of automation. They're afraid that their jobs are going to be taken away by technology. Who isn't? And we talked quite a bit about what folks need to do to ensure that that doesn't happen. And finally, there's a kind of an interesting one, which is perceived lack of personal benefits. So this may be the perfect thing to do for the organization, but what's in it for me? And we talked about approaches to making that very clear and really personalizing the benefits of digital transformation. So what were the key takeaways? Well, one of the big ones was to build out your strategy and put your arsenal in place, even before you're taking the leap to jump into digital transformation. So make sure you're clear on what technologies, what focus areas, and what benefits you're going to be looking at, and that you have in place the ability to measure to put in place the metrics around those benefits so you can really point to that and say, this has changed, this has gotten better. We also mentioned that whole personalizing the value proposition, and we also talked about how to generate a sense of urgency. And the answer to both of those is the same. You really want to build out use cases that people can relate to. So these are narratives, but they're very crisp narratives so people can immediately understand what might be a good benefit for enabling digital transformation in their organizations. So we got a lot of great insight on the technology, on the processes, and most importantly on the cultural changes, and hopefully quite a lot of folks left with the ability to get started on their own digital transformations. It was a great event, and hope to see you at the next WSTA event as well.